All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to Renegades of Puck TV. Remember, you can always find us at renegadesofpuck.com. Right there, you'll find links to our merchandise and every other way you can get involved with the Renegades of Puck. So renegadesofpuck.com is your one-stop shop for everything related to the Renegades of Puck. Independent hockey coverage based out of Nashville, Tennessee, but spreading far beyond. The trenches go well beyond the Middle Tennessee area, and the front lines are everywhere. We'd appreciate social media being a way that you can help us out. So give us a subscription on YouTube. Give us a like on Facebook. Give us a follow on Twitter. And of course, if you are on Venmo, you can go ahead and give us a donation. Anything helps. We are currently taking donations to add more equipment and to upgrade parts of the facility here at the bunker. We're going to put everything we get in donations back into the project for the entirety of the first year, and that is going to help us out tremendously. So anything you can donate, just find us on Venmo at Renegades of Puck, or go ahead and scan the QR code that's on your screen right now. And remember, the grievance line is always available to you. I was very surprised after the Maple Leafs game that none of you dialed up 615-640-0916. And remember, you are totally anonymous, so we want to hear your voices and we want to hear your opinion. Does anyone even ask you guys what you think anymore? Does anyone give you any airtime at all anymore? Well, we will right here on Renegades of Puck TV. So make sure you get onto the grievance line and leave us a message. We'll use the best audio right here on Renegades of Puck TV. 615-640-0916. Totally anonymous, open to you 24 hours a day. Leave us a message if you're upset with the Preds' performance against the Maple Leafs or anything else going on. This is your voice box to go ahead and vent. Couple of great partners here at Renegades of Puck. Rebirth Sports. Go to rebirthsports.com and see all of the incredible work that they are doing. I have been emailing back and forth with Doug. What an incredible partner. What an incredible business these guys are. I sure do appreciate them being in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Again, find them at Rebirth Sports on Facebook and on Twitter. Give them some stick taps, love, and respect. You saw all of the Renegades of Puck showing off their incredible hockey jerseys that they have, all of my great correspondents. I appreciate each and every one of you out there for the tremendous support you have shown to Rebirth Sports. Now, I want to tell you about another partner. Stripe Digital Solutions can be found at stripedigitalsolutions.com. Not only did Stripe Digital create this logo for me and help create and maintain the website, renegadesofpuck.com, but is also helping me build the brand and evolve and put together marketing and advertising campaigns that's going to help us bring more and more Renegades to the trenches. So, Stripe Digital Solutions can do that for your brand as well. So please find Stripe Digital Solutions on Facebook and Instagram, and of course, Strong Style Fitness. 150 workouts now by a certified personal trainer, completely free for you on demand at YouTube. You can also find Strong Style Fit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Strong Style Fit is in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck, keeping the Renegades of Puck happy, healthy, moving, and motivated. Strong Style Fit is a tremendous partner here of the Renegades of Puck, and I am so proud to be in operation and business and partnership with each of the companies involved there. Remember, if you want to get your company, your brand involved, you want to sponsor videos or segments or correspondence, whatever it is you want to do, we can craft something just for your business. You can find us at renegadesofpuck@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out or find us on any of those social media platforms we've already mentioned and let us know what we can do to get in business with you. We are very appreciative of everybody who has helped support us over the first month, and we look forward to where we are going moving forward. Now listen, you are here, of course, for the no half step in hockey coverage, and that is exactly what we will do. So all of the commercials are done, and it is now time to talk nothing but hockey. You give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the game. You give me 20 more minutes, and the Renegades of Puck will give you all of the analysis, all of the opinions, and everything that is happening around the world of the Nashville Predators and the National Hockey League. The Nashville Predators, as we sit this afternoon, sit in fourth place in the Central Division. After 16 games, they have a record of 9-6-1. They have 19 points in the Central Division, and they are 2 points behind a jumbled-up, top-heavy Central Division at this time. On the road, the Nashville Predators are 5-3-1, and unfortunately, the Nashville Predators' most recent game that was supposed to take place in Ottawa had to be postponed due to the Senators and the number of COVID-positive players and staff that they have. That game is currently listed as postponed. There has been no makeup date so far put on the schedule for the Nashville Predators. Now they will head on into Montreal after finishing off against Toronto. We'll have a full game recap of that coming up here momentarily. And for the first time this season, they'll take on the Montreal Canadiens. Now, they'll take them on a second time, and it will be very soon. As a matter of fact, it will be December the 4th when the Nashville Predators take on the Montreal Canadiens in Nashville. Now, this is the scheduling quirk that I have noted. This is going to be the first opponent that the Nashville Predators will play 2 games against this season. So they have not yet duplicated an opponent and will not duplicate an opponent on the schedule until they face off against the Montreal Canadiens on the 4th of December, which of course is coming up very quickly. Now, for the Nashville Predators, on the road they have a record of 5-3-1, and coming up after this game in Montreal, they actually get a chance to finally play some games at Bridgestone Arena. Monday night, they'll face off against the Anaheim Ducks. Wednesday, Vegas comes to town. And then on Friday, the New Jersey Devils will be here the day after Thanksgiving. Saturday, the Preds will head out to Colorado. And then on the 30th of November, already closing out the month of November, the Preds will be at home to face off against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, their next opponent is not very good. The Montreal Canadiens are 4-12-2, and they are 7th in the Atlantic. At home, they are 3-5-1. They have only scored 38 goals in the season while giving up 61. That is a difference of 23. Everything you look at as far as the NHL ranks in this Montreal Canadiens team is simply abysmal. This does not seem even remotely close to the same team that everybody watched make it through the Eastern Conference last year. 31st in goals for at 2.11, 28th in goals against at 3.39. Their shots for is 20th. Their shots against is also 20th. Their special teams not very good, rated 29th in both categories. Power play, 8 of 58 on the season, 13.8%. Their penalty kill at 72.1% has given up 17 power play goals against on the season. Now, in net, Jake Allen is listed as day-to-day right now, a record of 4-8-1, goals against a 2.78, 905 save percentage. Now, Suzuki leading the team in scoring, 4+10 for 14. That is a very good start to the season, but it drops off pretty quickly. Toffoli at 3-6 for 9 points, Anderson 4-4 for 8, and then Gallagher 3-5 for 8 for the Nashville Predators. Of course, they have had some really good play in the most recent stretches of hockey. We're going to recap a game that wasn't the best moment on the schedule, but for the Nashville Predators, things have been going very well to this point in the season. Their NHL ranks at 24th in goals for at 2.69, but 9th in the league in goals against at 2.63. Shots for is 31st. That is becoming a bit more of a concern. Not only are the Nashville Predators not getting any quantity of shots, they're not getting nearly the quality of shots that they need to be getting. Shots against, the Preds are 20th in the league. Power play, the Nashville Predators are 5th best in the NHL, converting 11 times in 42 opportunities, or 26.2%. The penalty kill has given up 12 against. That puts them at 22nd in the NHL. Now, couple of stats and notes for the Nashville Predators. Forsberg continues to be on injured reserve. We hope to have an update on him very soon. Cousins continues to be day-to-day. Another piece of the lineup the Nashville Predators would very much like to get in. And Alex Carrier now being upgraded from day-to-day to a potential game-time decision for this Montreal Canadiens game. Coach John Hines said he was hopeful that Carrier could get back in the lineup as soon as Saturday night. And of course, for those of you who saw the injury to Carrier blocking the shot with the back base of his skull, it was horrifying, and that is being kind about the description. I was terrified that the news was going to be so much worse than it was. So to hear that Carrier may be back before the end of this road trip is just simply incredible. I hope that he is in good spirits, and I hope that he's ready to get back to action, because he is a very promising young defenseman for this Nashville Predators team. Now, you see Saros' stats on the season: 7-5-1 record, a 2.17 goals against average, and a 928 save percentage. No change in the stats after the Toronto Maple Leafs game, because, as you know, the Nashville Predators did not do a very good job in that game. UC Saros, of course, led the team in that one, but Matt Duchene leads the team in scoring, 9 goals and 7 assists for 16 points. Roman Josi at 6 goals and 10 assists for 16 points. Mikhail Granlund is at 3 goals and 13 assists for 16 points. The drop-off then to Johansson at 9 points. So, for the Nashville Predators. They have an opportunity against a very bad hockey team in Montreal, a very dysfunctional hockey team without some of the stars that you are familiar with, to go in there and come away with these 2 points. As a matter of fact, I think the Nashville Predators need to come away with these 2 points. You don't get a whole lot of opportunities on the road against a team that is just this far out of sorts. Now, a team that is actually playing quite good on the season is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Nashville Predators had their first opportunity to play the Leafs just the other night, and they will play them one more time this season at Bridgestone Arena. But we go back and we check the lines going into this game. Jeannot, Johansson, and Tomasino make up your first line. Cunnin, Granlund, and Duchesne. Then Trenton, Sissons, and Olivier, known as the Herd line. Tolvin and Novak and McCarron, your defensive pairings. Yossi and Fabro, Ekholm and Benning. Borowiecki and Myers. UC Saros gets the start in net. The Nashville Predators now off to another road trip. Let's find out how things are going to go in Toronto. 31 seconds into the first period, Granlund's got a shot that is stopped by Campbell. The Nashville Predators' first shot of the game and the first shot of the game overall. 57 seconds into the first period, Tomasino hits the post on a 2-on-1 with Johansson setting up the play. Philip Tomasino, very much made about him on the Nashville Predators broadcast and every broadcast that had this game about Tomasino being a local boy, and he was about to do good until the post prevented that from happening. At 4:45, UC Saros comes up with a save on a deflection by Comp out of midair. At 6:46, Johansson's off to the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking, but I've got to tell you, I think I disagree with the call on this one, and the Nashville Predators are going to get burned almost immediately. Matthews, his 7th of the season, a wrist shot from the short side and the left circle beats UC Saros, giving Toronto Maple Leafs a 1-0 lead on home ice, and this just looked automatic. Crisp movement and perfect execution for this power play of the Leafs. 8:27, UC Saros comes up with a huge save, and at 11:10, Tomasino's off to the box, 2 minutes for slashing. The penalty kill was able to survive in this particular situation. 13:27, Tomasino loses the puck as he is trying to stick handle on a breakaway in close range. So Philip Tomasino has his second opportunity of the game to score a goal in his hometown, unable to do so. It's very unfortunate, just some bad luck on this one. 14:40, UC Saros with a save on Matthews, one-timer sliding across. Incredible save, and you've seen the highlight video by now plenty of times as Matthews went over to credit Saros after the play with quite a save, and UC Saros showed a little respect in return. Right after this save is made off the next faceoff, we see McCarron and Ritchie go for 5 minutes each. The fight did not last very long, but they were off to the box 5 minutes apiece. At 18:15, Nylander ties up the stick of Cunnin, preventing Granlund's feed from connecting, in a great scoring chance for the Predators. At the end of the first period, Toronto is leading the game 1-0. They're also out shooting Nashville 13-8, but it feels like they are absolutely controlling the entire flow of this game. At 47 seconds of the second period, Matt Duchesne hits the post off of the rush, so Duchesne getting an opportunity but unable to convert. 1:45, Ritchie is off to the box, 2 minutes for slashing. The Nashville Predators power play is unable to get anything done out there in the 2 minutes. At 4:17, UC Saros comes up with a huge save off of the Maple Leafs. Strong rush down the ice. 4:35, Matthews hits the post, crossbar combo. Then Saros makes the toe save on the goal line to keep the puck out of there. And it is just an absolutely incredible optic to see as the puck hits iron twice, then goes back out in front, then pinballs back to UC Saros, only to be stopped right on the goal line by the toe. Just simply incredible. Sometimes watching this game is absolute magic, and UC Saros came up with an incredible opportunity. Now, the note I made right here is the Preds just can't control the puck long enough to gain a foothold in this game. The Maple Leafs are just absolutely controlling and dictating the pace. 9:53. Tolvanen's got a shot, stopped. Everyone crashes the net, which is great for the Nashville Predators. Great to see. It leads to a big pile up in the crease, a little bit of a scrum. There was a hand over the puck by one of the Toronto skaters at this point. This should have been whistled for a penalty. It was not. When they went to a review, a lot of people thought that they were going to a review for a hand over the puck, but they were actually going to a review to see if the Predators had scored. The puck at no point in time made any run over the goal line, but a defensive player did put his glove over the puck, and that should have been whistled down for a penalty. At 10:19, UC Saros comes up and holds the line on Kampf on the doorstep at 13:53. UC Saros kicks out the leg after a close range turnover. 16:18, Cunnins off to the box, 2 minutes for interference. Honestly, it should have been a dive. It should have been only a dive. Strong PK by the Nashville Predators, though, and Toronto is kept off of balance. The Nashville Predators now being outshot by a much larger margin, 25-16. UC Saros is what is allowing the Nashville Predators to stay in this game. At 4:47, Novak drives the net for a scoring chance. Does not get credited with a shot, but it was the Nashville Predators' best opportunity in quite some time in this game. At 5:32, Simmons and Borowiecki square off, and they're about to go. Unfortunately, Borowiecki catches a finger to the eye, and that ends up ending the fight right there. The referees step in. They get 2 minutes each for roughing. It ends up being a 4-on-4 situation. UC Saros has to come up with a huge save on Nylander's breakaway. 10:09 of the third, Yossi gets a shot from out high. It is stopped by Campbell. 10:53, Duchesne drives the net hard for a scoring opportunity, and the Nashville Predators look like they are finally getting some pushback, but unfortunately, 13:31, Tomasito's off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping, and that happened in the offensive zone. Need to know to just let the player go at that point in time. Another strong PK by the Nashville Predators. Benning and Borowiecki doing a great job out there, not only eating up time, but also blocking shots. Unfortunately for the Preds, it would come apart at 16:04 as Kampf scores. Ekholm knocked into Saros. No chance for UC Saros to make the stop. Not even sure that he ever saw the puck coming his way. It's a 2-0 lead in favor of Toronto. The Nashville Predators would get one more great scoring opportunity at 19:15 as Duchesne is stopped on his jam attempt during the 6-on-5. But right after that, Marner would pick up the empty net goal, making it a 3-0 game in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that would be your final for the Nashville Predators. They just did not seem to ever get into this game. And I don't mean they didn't bring the energy, and I don't mean they weren't there and in the game and present there for the game. I just mean that Toronto did a great job of dictating the pace of this game, the style of the game, the flow of the game from start to finish, and the Nashville Predators were really never able to get into their style of game. They were also chasing the game, falling behind early in the first period on that power play goal again. So for the Nashville Predators, I look forward to them seeing the Toronto Maple Leafs again. I think that the Preds are a much more even team with the Maple Leafs, especially after what we saw in the previous 10 games. But this was just a night where the Preds didn't have it. The Maple Leafs controlled the game from start to finish, and UC Saros gave the Nashville Predators every opportunity through 40 minutes, plus minutes, to fight their way back into this thing. But they just were not able to generate enough offense, put enough plays together. It seemed like they could only put about 2 passes together before everything would start to fall apart, and there were certainly not enough secondary scoring chances or follow-up scoring chances or rebound scoring chances or any of the scoring chances that you've come to expect from the Preds so far this season. Now listen, UC Saros is the only thing in this box score for the Nashville Predators worth talking about. So I want to go out to the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, and I want to get his talk and follow-up on what happened with UC Saros against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and also get his preview of the Montreal Canadiens. He is, of course, Mostradamus. You can find him on Twitter at Ricoli35. Mostradamus, tell me everything.
Thank you very much, Charlie. The Nashville Predators' winning ways came to a screeching halt at the hands of the red-hot Toronto Maple Leafs. They are now 9-1 in their last 10 games after going on a 4-game losing streak back in October. It had to happen sooner or later. The Nashville Predators have been playing so well here as of late that Toronto just did not give them any space out there. I can't say that the Predators had a whole lot of passengers out there, but Toronto just absolutely outplayed them in every aspect of the game. They got on them early. They got a power play goal early on, of course, by Austin Matthews, and they took it home from there. Nashville didn't really generate a whole lot of scoring chances. It's unfortunate, but that's how things go. Overall, UC Saros, 31 out of 33 on the night. He was absolutely magnificent as always. The 8th straight time he's given up 2 or fewer goals, and the 11th out of the last 12 starts he's given up 2 or fewer goals. Just like I mentioned last time, he is giving this team a chance to win every single time he's out there. They had no business being in this game late, and with 4 minutes left in the game, the Preds were still within a goal of tying this game up and potentially getting and really stealing a point out of Toronto, but it was not to be. Late goal by Kemp really put this one away. The goal by Austin Matthews is just simple as this. The penalty killing has been much better here this season and really over the last dozen or so games, but when you give up a pass through that box as a penalty kill, you're looking for trouble. That's what happened, unfortunately, on that goal. Austin Matthews received a pass through the box, had plenty of time and space to release that shot near side on UC Saros before he could react to it. So that's what happens. And Saros did absolutely everything he could to keep the Preds in it and to get anything going. They hit a few posts, yes. They did not challenge, unfortunately, Jack Campbell enough for my liking. Only 24 shots on goal. And yes, they had a couple of good shots, but Jack Campbell has been fantastic the last couple seasons since he was acquired by Toronto last year. He did not look very sharp, though, tonight. He was giving up rebound after rebound. The Preds unable, unfortunately, to take advantage of any of those chances. He was gifting them to them, and they just did not have guys in the right places. And credit to Toronto's defense, who's been much maligned pretty much for the last decade about their team not playing good enough defense. But they did a good job keeping the Preds out of those high-danger areas and not giving them anything easy. Even when the Preds had a power play chance, it really didn't generate much of anything in that regard. Next up for the Preds, you have Ottawa. Was supposed to be Thursday night, but COVID outbreak for Ottawa. Now they have to wait till Saturday to get the bad taste out of the mouth after this game. They play the hapless Montreal Canadiens, who are having a major Stanley Cup final hangover. The second worst team in the NHL by points percentage. Arizona, the only team that is worse than Montreal. So Preds have a chance to get one of those get-right games, as you like to call it, Charlie. So, Charlie, take it away.
You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. He's the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, and he has been a part of this show and this presentation for so many years now, and I sure do appreciate Mostradamus for jumping in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Make sure you give that guy a follow at GreekGoalie35. He's always up for the interaction. Sean C. Smith has also got a lot of strong opinions from ontheforecheck.com. Sean C. Smith, go ahead and tell me everything that you want to about the Toronto Maple Leafs game and also about the rest of this road trip through Canada.
Thanks, Charlie. What's up, Renegades? It's Sean C. Smith back again for Renegades of Puck TV. And I want to say a little something about this. I think probably by now everyone's figured out that Philip Forsberg is not traveling with the team on this road trip. And of course, the road trip's been a little bit empty in the middle because of the cancellation or postponement in Ottawa. And that's okay because the team still gets to play the Montreal Canadiens coming up on Saturday night. Now, Forsberg not being on the road trip just means that they didn't think Forsberg was going to be able to play on the road trip. What that means is he's at home continuing to rehabilitate and get ready to play. When the team gets back into town, they will reevaluate and make a status change if needed or make a new projection for when he's going to be available. There's no reason to panic right now. It just means he wasn't ready for this road trip. No reason for him to travel, stay home, stay comfortable, get rehabilitated, and get ready to get back on the ice. We'll see what happens when they make it back to Nashville. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Canadiens. The Canadiens aren't doing so well right now, and so it seems like this is a game that the Predators should be able to pick up a win in, and I hope they do. I'm sure they hope they do. We all hope they do. But I want to say one more thing, and this is a little bit near and dear to my heart because something I've noticed as I've started covering this team and being down on the media calls, not only on Zoom, but in person as well. And it's a very strange thing, but it seems to be, and it's unique to Canadian media, that whenever the Predators are playing a team from Canada, and more specifically when they're playing the Edmonton Oilers, or here's a fun one, if they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, as they just did, or with the upcoming game against Montreal, it seems like there's always a member of the Canadian media who wants to talk to the Nashville players about how good the Canadian team's players are. And it just seems bizarre to me. I remember way back when I think it was Edmonton was in town to play Nashville, one of the reporters asked John Hines something about, what he thought about playing against or seeing Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl up close. And they forced him to praise their play after the team absolutely decimated the Predators. And it just seemed a little ridiculous to me at the time, but I noticed a trend that when you see the Predators again playing against Edmonton, they're forced to talk about what was it like out there playing against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? What is that? Like, what, after the team loses a game, you're going to go into their media availability, the team that's lost, and they've got to talk about the loss, which nobody wants to do. And then you're going to ask them to talk about how great the other team's players they are. Who does that? Is that just something unique to the guys that cover these teams in Canada? They think it's fine just to go in, hey, you just got your butts kicked and you're pretty down about it. Why don't you tell me how good the other team is? That's weird. Nobody likes that. Is it unprofessional? I don't know. It just seems out of place to me. So here's the thing. We saw it again against Toronto. They did the same thing. Now, it was pregame. I'll say I didn't see anything after the game where they were asking the guys what it was like to play against Austin Matthews, but they definitely asked Matthias Ekholm before the game and Matt Duchene before the game, hey, you're going to be out there playing against Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Oh, what do you think about that? Why? Why would we think about that? We've got to play against every team that we come across. Why would we treat this any differently? Because you've got a few guys on the top lines that are really good. You know what? Nashville, they have Roman Josi. What's it like playing against Roman Josi? And what I like was that Matt Duchene really spoke up and he said, yeah, they've got some good players, but we're one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now, so it should be a pretty good matchup. And I like that he kind of spoke up and said that. And maybe that's the reason they didn't give him any crap after the game about, what was it like being out there with Austin Matthews? Who wants to answer that question after a loss? Nobody. So let's see if Montreal can keep it together and not ask a bunch of stupid questions about what it's going to be like playing against their top players, which, let's be realistic, they've won 4 games. Let's not get too high on our good players right now, right? Anyway, that's what we've got going on. That's a little update on Philip Forsberg, and that's what I'm going to say about the Canadian media covering these teams and hope that they can not put their foot in their mouth and look stupid, but I don't know if they can handle it or not. Anyway, Charlie, I'm going to send it back over to you.
You can read his work at ontheforecheck.com. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. And, of course, you can give him a follow on Twitter at SCSOTF. He is an absolute superstar and a rising one in the industry of covering the National Hockey League and the sport of hockey in general. And I sure do appreciate him jumping in the trenches with me right here on Renegades of Puck TV.
Thanks, Cap. Well, even though we don't have a game to review since last night's game was postponed, we do have a pretty important milestone that I want to talk about, and that's going to be the topic of today's One Big Stat. Now, the loss against Toronto was deflating for many reasons, but it did represent a very important milestone in this franchise history. Now, that milestone is it is the 100th regular season game, that is, for Coach John Hynes with the Nashville Predators. Now, he's had a lot to step into. He came in as a mid-season hire, then had to endure all of last season amidst the COVID pandemic. However, if you look at how he has performed and how the team has performed under him, you're going to see some interesting similarities. Now, with the Nashville Predators, John Hynes is 56, 40, and 4 for a total of 116 points in his first 100 games with the team. Now let's compare that to Peter Laviolette's first 100 games. Obviously, he started his first season with the Preds at the beginning and had a full 82-game season and didn't have any interruptions like John Hynes did. So in his first 100 games, he had a record of 58, 29, and 13 for a total of 129 points. Now, 129 points is, yes, much better than not much better, but better than what John Hynes had at 116. But if you look at the difference, 9 of those 13-point difference all came from overtime losses. And if you remember last season, Nashville was one of the best teams in the entire league in overtime, only dropping a handful. I think one game last season that they dropped in overtime to get those loser points, as they're called. So if we're going to grade that against Peter Laviolette and how they both performed in their first 100 games, I'm going to say that John Hynes has performed pretty much on level with Peter Laviolette, if not a little bit better, because he's had to deal with quite a bit more. But what I'd like to know from you, Renegades, is what you guys think and how you grade John Hynes' first 100 games. Back to you, Charlie.
Listen, there's not a whole lot else to talk about as far as that game. The Preds just didn't have it against the Maple Leafs. Against the Montreal Canadiens, I expect a much better effort. I expect the Preds to score some goals, and I expect the Preds to come out of there with a win. And if they split this shortened road trip, the Ottawa Senators was also a game I would have demanded a victory in. The Ottawa Senators are frankly one of the worst teams in the NHL right now, much like the Arizona Coyotes. And the Nashville Predators, so they will have an opportunity to split the road trip, get 2 out of 4 possible points, and that will be all right at this point in the season. The Nashville Predators then come home and face off against a couple of teams that are just very up and down. You never know what you're going to get from them night to night, but we'll be here to preview it. Listen, I wanted to mention right before we get out of the trenches and get out of the bunker today, Friday on the 19th, Red Bank, Tennessee, the Pit 6 It's taking place. I'll go ahead and put the flyer up on the screen right now. You can get all the details right there. I want you to go ahead and give some love, some stick taps, and some respect. Renegades of Puck. I sure do appreciate each and every one of you who is willing to go out there and support a little bit of professional wrestling over there on the eastern side of the state of Tennessee. We have a whole bunch of Renegades, so I am putting this information, this intel out for you. You will want to be there, as my old partner Tank is going to be involved in some insanity. Death matches are simply incredible. It is a live experience that you must just be there. You must just go. You must check it out for yourself. I will be in attendance only to support my old partner Tank as he has made his return to the professional wrestling world, and also to support some other friends that I have on the show. So I appreciate them doing a little bit of work with us and partnering with us, and us being able to promote them a little bit. So give them a little bit of love, give them a little stick taps, give them a little bit of respect out there. Sure to appreciate each and every one of you Renegades of Puck. Remember, you can follow us on all of those different social media platforms. We're doing a great job. After just a month's time, we really have made some great ground, and we have done some incredible things, but we need to keep it up. We need to keep the pace moving forward. We need to keep building the project. Listen, there is so much negativity and toxicity out there in the hockey community, in the hockey world. The thing to do is not to recede from it. The thing to do is band together, group together, get in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck, and let us become a force for positivity. When I say no half-stepping, you know exactly what I mean. I mean doing the right thing, going to the hard areas, and yes, sometimes it makes your day a little bit harder, or it makes your task a little more difficult to take that extra step, to go that extra mile. But you know what? That's what we're going to do here in the trenches. And the more Renegades of Puck, and there are so many of you out there, we just have to find you. We need to reach you. We need to bring you to the trenches one renegade at a time. The more renegades we bring in, the more power we will have, and then we can become a positive force throughout the hockey community, not just here in Nashville and Middle Tennessee, but throughout the entire hockey community. If they can get millions of followers and millions of listeners, then so can we. Let's continue building this thing, Renegades of Puck. For Nostradamus, Sean C. Smith, Brian Basson, and every one of you Renegades of Puck, I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Thank you for jumping in the trenches with me. Stick taps, love, respect.